welcome to another episode of the Bella Grace podcast, where we are helping you transform your life, mind, body, and soul. Whether you are struggling to find balance, you are using unhealthy coping mechanisms and behaviors, or you just want to unlock the root cause of what's holding you back from living your best life, the Bella Grace coaching team, which is Rosie and I, can help you transform your life, mind, body, and soul. And this week, Rosie, you want to tell them what we're talking about this week?
Yes, we are talking about the importance of exercising and nutrition.
Yes. And yeah, this is a topic that I think nobody wants to talk about. When you start talking about food and exercise and diet, like everyone clams up, right? Nobody wants to talk about this.
Hide your muffins, guys.
Yeah. We actually had muffins.
Take that celery stick out and just chew on it or make some juice.
So I think it's a hot topic because people don't want to talk about it. It's hard.
Because we don't want to do the job.
Yeah.
We're so comfortable living in unhealthy habits sometimes, and I think we're all guilty of that.
No, we are.
It's not easy.
No. America is one of the most unhealthy places on the planet. And that's sad.
I know. It is. I mean, we have McDonald's, we have Jack in the Box, we have a burger here in Texas.
I know.
And we have Sonic, we have Chick-fil-A. I mean, all these very convenient food that we don't have to go to the grocery store to cook and, just.
Literally, you can just pick up an entire meal. And so, that makes me think of, so the nonprofit that I work with, we serve low-income apartment complexes, right? And so we work in some of the poorest parts of town. And a lot of times, people may not know this, but the poorer side of town is a food desert.
Yeah.
Because franchises won't open unless there's a certain number of roofs.
Or stores.
Stores. And so whenever I go to work on site, I find myself struggling to find a healthy meal to eat for lunch. I try to eat before I leave the house, because if not, it's McDonald's, Jack in the Box. Maybe. There's not always even those options. And it makes me think, like, it stinks. But in America, and I can't speak for any other part of the world, but in America, we set our poor people, and I use that word and I hate that word, but we set our poor people up at such a disadvantage because food is so important to your brain health.
Your overall well-being.
Well-being. So there was a study done, and it was like the absolute worst food that you can give a child for breakfast is a Pop-Tart. And I'm like, they were going through all the like really bad things that you can give to kids for breakfast. And I'm thinking, that's all the stuff that's really cheap.
All that, like cereals, I mean, cookies. All that stuff is full of sugar. And I did see another research that said if you give your children a high protein breakfast, they are more likely to do better throughout the day. They're able to focus, they have more energy, they're less hungry also, and they're prone to make better decisions as well. Because it's affecting their mood, their neurons in the brain, and energy. I mean, that's amazing with just one different thing. Making a better choice.
Like, it's the difference between giving them eggs and a meat, and giving them a bowl of cereal, a bowl of we don't eat sweet cereal here, but like Captain Crunch or whatever the sweet sugary cereals are, like that, it makes a huge difference. And I think we don't teach our people, we don't teach our kids how to eat healthy and why.
And I think a lot of those times why we don't teach our kids is because we weren't taught ourselves.
Exactly.
So then we have to unlearn that and
relearn new
yes,
concepts.
exactly. And I feel like nowadays it's a lot easier to educate yourself on that because there's like nutrition programs, there's nutrition books, there's even like people making healthy recipes.
Yeah.
Like on YouTube or even
TikTok,
on Pinterest.
Pinterest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you, I mean,
now I open my phone.
Yeah.
So, and we all know Google listens to everything, right? Like I have Google Home set up over here, and
I thought that was Siri.
I know
is it Alexa or
no, it's Google. So I'm surprised it hasn't activated yet, but it listens, right? Like our phones listen, and if you don't know, you can turn that setting off, but you have to manually go turn it off. But so the more I live a healthy lifestyle, the more I'm offered healthy options. And what I mean is like my phone is listening, my phone is watching what I search. So every time I search high protein breakfast or a healthy alternative to sugar or whatever it is, like whenever I put that into my phone, Google automatically will take that and process it and start to then give me
more of that.
And your brain is the same way. Your brain is the same way as Google.
Yeah.
And it will.
And so is your body, because the more you feed your body nutritious food, things
the more it craves it.
Yeah, the more it craves it. So it stops craving less of the junk food. And I've done it before where I eat really healthy. And I usually do. Here and there I'll just, eat some chips.
Right.
But
me too.
Yeah. And or a little muffin or something else. But it's not an everyday kind of thing because I have to try to balance everything out. But I have noticed that when I do have a cheeseburger or something that's really greasy, that's really unhealthy, I just start noticing it instantly within like bites. And I'm like, okay, this is not okay.
My stomach will start to hurt. Like I don't have a gallbladder anymore. And so I have a hard time processing high fat foods.
Okay.
But I also recently noticed that I struggle with gluten.
Ooh, me too.
Yeah, and I didn't know. I never knew. It wasn't until I started exploring what I was putting in my body that I realized what was making me sick. And I have joint issues, right? Like I have really bad joints. And so I realized that the gluten was causing inflammation in my body, which was making my joints hurt more.
Yeah.
So like today I will be extra achy because I ate the muffin this morning.
So Teresa made muffins, guys. Teresa made banana nut muffins. I can't bake because I'm the kind of person that I will measure, but then I'll add a little extra of something.
Yeah.
But I had one right now. They were delicious, by the way.
Thank you.
But you're not supposed to have those.
I know.
Bad girl.
I know. But the thing is, like, I think it's important to realize that you don't have to restrict yourself.
No.
Right? You don't have to. I don't have to say I can never have another banana nut muffin.
No.
Like I don't. But now I know the consequences of if I do have one. Yeah. And instead of having 4 or 5, they're small muffins, guys. They're small. They're not big. But instead of having 4 or 5, I have one or half of one, once every couple of days. Whereas in the past, I probably would have that pan would have been gone by now.
Yeah. Well, now you know that you have to eat something healthier later to balance that out. So it doesn't affect your body as much.
Yeah, it is. It's all about balance. And I think people shut down whenever we start talking about diet and exercise and nutrition because they think it's all about restriction.
Yeah.
And you were saying your taste buds change, right? When you start to eat healthy. Yeah. So my daughter has a friend, and when she's around during their sports season, I have two different shopping lists. I have a shopping list for her and a shopping list for my daughter, because my daughter, we grew up, I've raised her eating really healthy. Like a lot of what we ate when she was growing up was homemade, because I was in college, I was a single mom, and I worked as a waitress. So money was not something we had a lot of. So I made all of our bread homemade. I made, aside from like pasta, I made pretty much everything homemade. Pizza crust. Anytime we wanted pizza, I would just make a pizza crust and we'd do pizza at home. Everything. I made everything homemade, and I did fresh veggies for everything. Yeah. So her whole life, like, she's only grown up eating healthy foods. Yeah. Like, we didn't have a lot of cereal. We didn't have a lot of like Pop-Tarts or Little Debbie's or like the Gushers or fruit roll-ups. Like, we just didn't have the extra money for that. Mm-mm. So her sweets were cookies that I made.
And that's good, because now since she grew up eating healthy, that's what she knows. Yeah. And you taught her well, because now she's able to know, okay, this is what I know, and I'm gonna eat.
Yeah, and that's what I tell her friend, because her friend, I'll make something and her friend is like, ew, I don't like that.
The same thing with my kids. So at one point I was a stay-home mom as well. Yeah. And I would do a lot of like juicing and smoothies, and I mean, I still do that here and there, just not as much. Yeah. But my kids grew up with that as well. Mm-hmm. So whenever my friends would come over, or they would see that my kids were having a fruit and vegetable smoothie, they were like, what? Like, yeah. They like that? And I said, yeah, because you have to teach your children, like, hey, we're going to make a smoothie because it has kale, it has beets and cucumber and banana, and it's really good. And yeah, I would put fruits in there to make it sweet.
To make it sweet, yeah.
Yes, and like blueberries or strawberries. And they would drink it because it tasted good to them. So now when they see me drinking it, they want it too. But because I taught them that from a young age. Yeah. And that's also a really good way to have like some vegetables in your system, some blueberries or strawberries. And so your eating habits are very important for your well-being, for your mind, your body, and your soul, because when you eat healthier, or you make healthier decisions, it affects your overall life.
Yeah, it especially affects your mental health. Yes. So what you put in, I always say, what you put in, what goes in has to come out, right? Like, and I'm not talking about the bathroom way. I'm talking about like what goes in is what comes out. So if you're putting in junk food, the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings that go out are going to be junky. Yeah. Because you're putting junk in. Mm-hmm. And so I told you I wanted to bring this up. Look, I talked about it on last week's episode, but this is the Just for Today mental health journal. It's literally just a printout of the PDF. I just printed it. But so it is the Just for Today mental health journal. It's protecting your mental health through daily intentional living. And the whole purpose of this is like what we're talking about, to help you make cognizant choices about what's going into your body, so that what comes out, your energy, your thoughts, your emotions, are healthy. But I told you earlier, I was like, I want to bring this up because I think it's so important. It is. Because what did I say? It's in here. Let me look, because if not, I'll screw it up.
Well, when you make healthier decisions, it affects, we were talking about how it affects your mood, it affects you physically, it also affects your mind, the way that you are able to process things and concentrate. Yep. So eating, and not just eating, because eating is very important. It's like 80% of what you put into your body. Oh, yeah. But when you also exercise, when you move your body around, whether it's doing yoga, running, walking, getting on the bike, or just gym, or any form
of activity, moving your body. Yeah.
Yes. That all increases your levels of
Endorphins.
There you go.
Yes.
Which teamwork.
Is teamwork, which is the E in the
Yeah.
daily dose. So
Yeah.
dose stands for dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And on the first page of this little journal, you have like a key for what each one of these is. But endorphins are the natural painkiller.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because if you are, when I go through things, when I'm struggling in life, I like to go for a run.
Oh, I know. I do too. When I
Yeah.
feel stressed or overwhelmed, or I'm just feeling moody,
Mm-hmm.
Teresa, I do the same thing. I take, like, my husband, this is what my husband does. He's like, when I'm cranky and I'm moody, he knows this, because husbands just pick up on your mood.
Yeah, they know.
And then they try to fix you right. So that's my husband. And he's like, you know what? You need to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And I do, because and I'm like, yeah, I know. Because after the gym, I have more energy. I feel better.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel more relaxed.
Yep.
And exercise is so important for you, because the more you move, the stronger your body gets. Also, as you age, your body loses muscle mass.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very important that you keep it growing, because if you fall or you hurt yourself, your bones will break, because the muscle is what holds your bones together.
Yeah.
So this is why I exercise, not only because I want to feel good, look good, but because I want to grow strong.
You want to
And
grow
I want to
old.
be healthy.
Yeah.
Yes,
You want
I
to be
want
a
to be able
healthy
to
old
run
person. Yeah.
after my grandchildren and
Mm-hmm.
just pick them up like nothing, like I'm 20 years old.
Yeah. No, seriously, it is. It's important.
Yeah.
So you were saying endorphins, like, so endorphins are the natural painkiller, right?
Yeah.
So this is all in the little mental health journal, but endorphins are released when you feel pain or stress, and they're released when you feel pleasure as well. So sex, working out, all of that releases endorphins. So if you're going through something, like after my fiance passed away,
Okay.
I would go out and just take off running down the block. I wasn't into running then like I am now, but that rush of endorphins helped me process some of the pain the emotional pain that I was feeling.
Ooh.
And so I would just get out and I would run. And this is why I know we said we might talk about disordered eating, but this doesn't have anything to do with disordered eating, but the fact that endorphins are released when you feel pain is the reason why cutting is so addicting. Do you know what cutting is?
Yeah. I've seen it in
a lot of people have seen it. It's in movies, it's in shows
Yeah.
now, but it had a rise with TikTok, with people cutting, like talking about cutting on TikTok. And so when my daughter was in middle school, I feel like everyone was cutting. And now that they're in high school, you see kids with their little cutting scars on their thighs and on their arms.
That just breaks my heart.
It is really hard. It's hard as a parent to walk your kid through that, but it is really hard to break that habit, because when you cut, the endorphins are released. And so it's almost like a little surge of a high when the endorphins are released, right? Like, imagine when you work out and you feel that, I worked out, I feel great, I'm ready to take on the world, like I'm ready to, let's go get a healthy shake, let's go have a healthy dinner. That rush that you feel is the same rush that people get after they cut themselves.
Wow.
And so imagine trying to stop doing something that brings you that level of pleasure, right? Because they're released when you feel pain and when you feel pleasure, but there is a rush of pleasure after the the endorphin is released.
Wow.
And so, I went off on a tangent, but for some reason, I wanted to say, like, cutting can be really hard to get over. And if your kid starts cutting, they can't just stop. And it's important as a parent to recognize that they're hurting, and the reason that they're doing the cutting is because they're trying to process something that's going on in their lives
that they can't understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's usually, it is a coping mechanism for dealing with pain. So don't know who needed that. Don't know why I went on that tangent, but hopefully that helps someone like understand why their child might be cutting.
Yeah.
Anyway, that has nothing to do with nutrition or exercise, but for some reason,
that explains why people do what they do, because they're looking for that feel good.
Oh yeah.
Instant. What do you call it?
Gratification, release. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Wow, but that's wow. I mean, that explains it. Wow.
Yeah. Another way to get like that reward in a healthy way is by increasing your dopamine in your brain, right? Okay. So dopamine is the reward neurotransmitter, the reward chemical in your brain. So whenever you do something that rewards you, so in your like caveman brain, your old, back in the day before we were evolved humans, like
our ancestors, guys.
Yes. Because there's a part of our brain that's still, we call it like the lizard brain, like that's the bottom of your brain stem. But so your basic human instinct is to survive.
Right.
So whenever you do something that helps you survive, your brain releases dopamine. So it will be like something that, like eating it. If you were a caveman, it would be like killing that animal. That would release dopamine because that animal is going to keep you alive, right? Sex is procreation, so it means we're going to keep the human race alive, so that releases dopamine. Okay. Every time you accomplish something, your brain releases dopamine as a reward, and you feel that rush of excitement, right? So let's say you set a goal of, okay, today I'm going to run 3 miles. Yeah. Okay, so you run you're running. You're ready to give up, and you're like, no, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. Yeah. And then you
gotta make it to that end of that house over there.
Yeah. And you finish, and you get not only a rush of endorphins, but you also get a rush of dopamine because your brain is rewarding you for accomplishing your task.
And then after that run, you eat a cupcake.
So, okay, so that takes me to my second point about dopamine, guys, because 50%
I'm not helping.
50% of your dopamine is found in the gut.
Ooh.
So and this again is in the Just for Today Mental Health Journal, but so having a diet that's high in protein, amino acid, one of these amino acids.
High in protein.
Yeah, high protein.
Amino acids.
And that's the only one that's in here. But those two amino acids and dopamine, protein, can help increase your dopamine levels in your gut because it's created in your gut.
Those are the feel good.
Yeah. So it's created in your gut, and then it goes up into your brain, and then it's released through your brain whenever you feel rewarded. So some of the examples are like apples, avocados, beets, chocolate.
Wait, beets?
Yes,
did you just say beets?
Beets. Yes.
Go eat your beets, guys. The way I eat my beets are in smoothies. I buy them, I wash them, I peel them, and I cut them in little chunks, put them in the blender with some cucumber, celery, and banana. Guys, that is a smoothie that will have your skin glowing so good, and it cleans you out, and it detoxifies your body as
You're
well.
Gonna have to send me those ingredients.
Oh, so whenever I want to fit into a dress, that's what I drink.
So is it like a cleanse almost?
Yes, it does. And you can feel it. Oh, and they're so good also for high blood pressure.
Oh,
yes. So, and you'll feel it instantly. You'll feel really good. But wow, I can't believe beets do that.
Yeah. So beets are good for your dopamine. Yeah, eggs, fava beans, fruit, vegetables.
Did you just say eggs?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
because
eggs are eggs, guys.
Eggs are high in protein. Wow, yeah, because they're high in protein. Dark chocolate, lima beans. I don't know anybody who actually likes lima beans. And then
I'm trying to think about what are lima beans. Maybe I ate them, but
they're like they're almost like a very light shade of green. like a very pale green, and they're almost like oval shaped. They're big. They're like that big probably. Yeah, I'll have to pull up a picture
I know
and
what
show
you're
you.
talking about. They're like a bean, right? Okay.
Yeah, they look like a smashed edamame. You know the edamame?
Okay,
like
yeah.
it's a smashed
That's
edamame.
what I figured it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah.
I need to get some of those today.
So those are things that you can do. Those are the things that you can eat to increase your dopamine. But you can also, the things that you can do to increase your dopamine is like checking things off of your list. And I always, whenever I have people do the Just for Today mental health journal, so the first couple lines is like, today I feel like blank, and that's okay. So it's acknowledging your emotions, right? Okay. And then today's positive message, 3 things I'm thankful for, because we were talking about gratitude last week. So 3 things I'm grateful for. And then, so to get your daily dose, you do these things down here. And the first one is get your daily dose of dopamine by checking things off of your to-do list. Because whenever you check things off of your to-do list, it signals your brain to release that reward, that dopamine. Yeah. And so you get that little rush of, yay, I checked something off of my to-do list.
I have a to-do list mentally, because I can't run around with sticky notes.
No, me either. And a lot of times I do this at the end of the day. I write down what I did.
Well, for me, I have to make sure that I have one healthy meal throughout the day.
Okay, so that would be a thing on your to-do list.
Water,
yes.
And that I have protein, and that I also move my body.
Yes.
Whether it's through yoga, Zumba, gym, going for a run. And lately I have been incorporating more cardio running, because it gives me that little rush too. And I love working out, but lately I'm like, okay, I need to do more cardio, guys.
Yeah. So I always tell people whose goals are to lose weight or, eat, quote unquote, eat healthier. Like I tell them, make your 3 things that you're going to accomplish today around your health and nutrition. So I'm going to eat at least 1 healthy meal today. Yeah. But what does a healthy meal look like to you?
For me, it has to have something green.
Yeah.
Something green, some kind of vegetable. It has to have protein, whether it's chicken, shrimp, fish, or steak. Something just high in protein.
Right.
And then if I want to do carbs, it has to be either white rice or some type of like high carb vegetable. But that's what a healthy meal looks like to me, or a salad. Yeah. But I can't just have a salad. No. My salad has to have protein.
Oh yeah.
Because
I'm the same way.
Protein keeps you fuller for longer times. Yeah. It gives you energy, and it makes you crave less unhealthy things later on.
Yeah.
So I always have to make sure
to want to snack. Yeah.
In every meal, I have to make sure I have some type of protein, whether it's in breakfast, some eggs, or lunch, some chicken with salad or whatever. Yeah. And for dinner as well, something small. For dinner time, I try not to eat a lot, only because it's like, okay, I guess for dinner you're supposed to have like a small meal.
Yeah, what's the saying? Eat breakfast like a king,
breakfast like a champs. Lunch like a.
I can't remember. I think it's.
But then you're supposed to eat like you're poor for dinner, guys.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I'm not too hungry, I'll just snack on some fruits, and will have like a small protein, maybe some cheese, something. But
I think it's breakfast like a king, lunch like a queen, dinner like a peasant.
Yeah, there you go. She's got it.
Hey, I took a nutrition class in undergrad, and these are the little things I learned. And I learned a lot of the like little things in my nutrition class, but then I learned about the power of food for your mental health in my like psychology classes. And it's really cool to finally put it all together, because it's all linked. Like what you put in your body is what is going to fuel you to be able to have the energy to go work out. It's also what's going to fuel you to be able to handle the stress, to handle the problems, to be happy when you're supposed to be happy. Like, so the other thing was the serotonin. 90% of your serotonin is created in your gut. And what is serotonin? Serotonin is the feel-good hormone in your brain.
Okay, give me some yummy serotonin. Can you put that in the song, please?
Let's see. So, foods high in tryptophan. So, tryptophan is the thing that's in turkey that makes you sleepy.
Wait, what? What is in turkey, guys?
Yeah, tryptophan. But you can eat things like salmon,
so
eggs,
is it only
cheese.
in turkey, or
no,
is it okay? So it's also in fish.
Yeah, salmon, eggs, cheese, tofu, pineapples, nuts, oats, seeds. Again, all of this is in the just for today.
I need that manual, guys.
I know.
Need to take that
this
home.
Is a shameless plug for the Just for Today Mental Health Journal, because I worked really hard on this and I jam-packed it with ways that you can boost your feel-good hormones, the dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And I really wrote it so that anybody can read this and understand it.
Good.
But I want you to be able to
so my kids can read this.
Well,
if they tell me, Mommy,
I don't.
Oh no,
yeah,
you're
give
not.
them this. Here you go.
This is good for you.
Yeah,
here, have a smoothie while you're reading.
It is child friendly. It's just big words, like a couple big words.
Okay.
The hormones are big words, but I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be a tool to help people see the mind, body, stomach connection, because what we put in really matters.
Very.
And if your goal is to exercise more or run a marathon next year.
Talk about marathon, guys. This is little, okay? This is not. I mean, I do hope to run one in my lifetime, okay?
Me too.
Maybe we could do it together.
I know, we should just start training together.
We should. Yeah. And I'll ride the bike while, you just go and run. And I'll be like, Teresa, we're almost there. Come on, we're going up the hill. We can do this. And you'll be like, oh, almost there.
I see.
You know what I mean? Or I could put like a fishing pole with some cheese like you're.
Because she rides bikes and I don't. So if you missed the episode where we talked about what brings you joy, we talked about how she likes to ride a bike, and riding a bike gives me anxiety.
I like to run. I do, and I ran like I used to run so much.
Yeah.
Because I used to play soccer in high school, but running to me was just one of those things I always did when I was like stressed or having a hard day.
Yeah.
It just made me feel so good and alive afterwards. And not only, it just also made me look good throughout, weeks of me running. But but tomorrow I'm leaving today to Houston because my family lives there. My sister and I signed up for the Mud Girl Run.
Oh, it's hard.
Is it?
Yeah. If it's okay, so my husband did it, and my husband is the kind of person who can like get up and run 12 miles with no training. Like he's just a freak of nature.
Then I don't know what I got myself into.
Is it like a Tough Mudder? Is it like the girl version of Tough Mudder?
I'm assuming, because I've never done it, so I have no clue what I'm getting myself into. And I signed my daughter up too, so for her.
Yeah, you're like rolling around in the mud.
Yes, and there's obstacles as well.
Yeah.
So I guess that explains why I called my sister throughout the weekend. I was like, "Hey, you're ready?" And she's like, "Yeah, I've been training."
Yeah,
and I'm over here thinking,
you need a lot of
you gotta train. And
upper body strength. Yeah.
Oh, I've been running. I don't know what kind of training you're supposed to do for these things, because I'd really never done one. But I like to challenge myself, especially when it's something physically like this, because afterwards, I guess it gives me
it gives you a rush of endorphins and dopamine.
There you go. And I'm sure I'm gonna be sore for a whole week. But I'm excited about it, and I'm gonna be so muddy afterwards. I'm probably gonna scratch that mud off my skin for months.
But you know what? It's gonna be a good activity, because you're actually gonna hit on every single one of these. I was just looking at it, and I'm like, okay, so dopamine is rewards. Okay. You're gonna reward yourself by accomplishing it. the oxytocin is the love hormone, so you're gonna have bonding time with your sister and your daughter.
Yes.
Yeah, so
my daughter's gonna probably hate me after
yeah,
this.
your poor daughter.
Like, Mom, you're supposed to protect me. You're supposed to have the best interest.
Our friend Stephanie came back with bruises all up and down. The one,
no, don't tell me that.
You know, my two friends that came to my birthday dinner,
Oh.
the Hispanic girl, the one with the dark hair, her.
Oh,
she came.
I am worried for my life now.
She came back with bruises all over her. So good luck.
No.
You're gonna also get some serotonin, the feel good.
Okay, good.
Chemical, good. And then you're also gonna get some endorphins.
Okay, now I'm really nervous.
Now you're. I'm excited for you though, but it is.
Yeah, I was excited a few minutes ago. Now I don't know.
I scared her, guys. Sorry, Rosie.
Yes, it's okay. I mean, we'll see, and I'll live, and I'll tell you guys about it. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
You'll have to come back. Yeah, you'll have to do a reel. Do an Instagram story on the Bella Grace Co. Instagram page so that we know how it went. Do it on Sunday.
Oh my God, but we definitely have to do one together, Teresa, and invite some other people, and we'll see how that goes. Yeah, that would be so much fun.
I know.
Wait, didn't you tell me that you and Nick do this
the relay race?
Yes.
Yeah, so he does it because he likes to run. I do it because I'm super passionate about helping people. Okay. I have a servant's heart.
Yeah,
I do too. So last year and this year we are doing this relay race to raise money for an organization called Build On. And Build On has after school programs for high school students in places like South Chicago, South Harlem, like some of the roughest neighborhoods in the country, right?
Oh, and I know.
You Chicago. You grew up in Chicago.
Up in Chicago, and I know there's a lot.
I know. And my husband is the kind of person who he will accidentally on purpose take us to parts of towns when we travel that we probably shouldn't be in. Like one time we accidentally ended up in the hood in New Orleans, you know, he's just real cool, calm and collected walking through there. And I'm like, I don't think we should be here. Like, because they tend to be very protective neighborhoods, right? They don't like outsiders.
Yeah.
Which, fine, whatever.
And you can always tell. Yeah. Like who is an outsider by the way
we looked like tourists. Mm-hmm. But I told him when we were in Chicago, I was like, if we had a rental car, like I want to go to South Chicago because I want to see
I can take you to South Chicago.
My husband was like, I'm not going. He's like, that is one of the most dangerous places in the country. And you want to just go cruise through it. And I'm like, you took us to Compton. Like what? We've been like, we've been in the red light district in Amsterdam, not New Amsterdam, Amsterdam. Yeah. Like we've been in some rough places. Like what's so bad about Chicago? But so Build On goes into these really bad, low income, high crime rate neighborhoods, and they have after school programs for the kids. And then they take these kids and they take them to third world countries that don't have schools. Mm-hmm. And they have them help build schools for people who have never gone to school before. And it gives them such a feeling of ownership. Like I did something for someone who has it worse off than me. Like I gave back to someone.
Which is also a release of?
Not endorphins, serotonin. Yes, serotonin and oxytocin because they start to build those relationships.
So when you do good things for other people, when you're helping them, whether it's you, I don't know, taking them to a store or opening a door for someone else, that also releases serotonin.
Yes. Yeah, because and it could
having a serving heart helps you. Yeah. Guys, have a serving heart.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. When you give back. So anyway, that's what we do the relay race for because we raised money last year and now there are 3 schools being built in 3 different places in Africa. With the money that we raised during last year's race. And we're going to do it again this year. And it's 200 miles. I think I told you it was like 120, but my husband corrected me. It's 200 miles split between 12 runners.
Ooh, that sounds like a lot. I mean, I'm tired just hearing about it. Yeah. I mean, I run a mile and I'm like,
Yeah. And so doing stuff like that, like
Wow.
you said, it releases the oxytocin
Yeah.
because we're split into two vans, so it's 6 people in each van. And I usually drive, but this year I'm going to run and drive, and my husband's going to run and drive. We're going to split a leg, or a section. And so it's going to be like running, I think the legs are like, so for one person, you get 3 legs, and it's usually like 12 miles, 3 miles, 7 miles.
I would run the 3 miles.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 miles, guys. Your turn.
Yeah, but it's like, and so whenever I'm doing those, like I always tell people, oh, I'm just the driver. But I had a lady tell me, hey, don't say I'm just the driver. She was like, you're the one that's getting them from point A to point B alive.
Yeah.
She's like, and you are driving for 36 hours with no sleep.
Wow.
And so on the days like leading up to the race, like I know it's super important for me to eat healthy, be on my, be on the top of my game,
drink a lot of water.
Drink a lot of water. Like I make sure that I'm getting good sleep because, and I make sure that I work out while I'm driving. Like, so every time we stop, I run around the van.
And then when you have like a dumbbell, like,
no, but every time we stop the van, I get out and I run.
Oh,
because that release of endorphins running around the van gives me like a boost to energy.
Okay.
And it helps keep me alert while I'm driving these guys around. Yeah. And I like, even though I'm not actively running, the snacks that I ask them to get me is like meat sticks, like beef jerky,
Slim Jims.
Yeah,
Slim Jims.
Yeah, high protein. I get protein shakes. Yep. Yeah, I fruit. Like I ask them to get me nuts and berries and like
greasy food and salty. I like salty stuff, but greasy foods or certain things, especially sugar, it gets me all like, ugh.
And it makes me sleepy.
Yeah, it gets me tired, and I'm like,
I don't have that crash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, let's give people something tangible that they can take home with them.
Oh, this is where I come in, guys.
Yes. Okay.
So
yes.
I wanted to let you guys know that the gym saved my life when I was going through a season of like, it was so much going on.
Yeah.
But I always love to work out and make sure that I do something that keeps me moving. But I joined the gym in a very hard season of my life, and it's actually helped me through it all because it helped with depression, it helped with stress and anxiety. Guys, now gym is my therapy. So it just, and I, not only because it keeps me moving, but because I've met some amazing people there, and they motivate me, they inspire me to just push me. Some of them even train me, and I'm like, don't tell me no. I'm just kidding. You need more weight. That looks very easy, and I'm like, oh yeah, I bet you can do it. No, I'm just kidding. No, but we help each other, and I love that because it's also community. But you can also take a Zumba class, guys. You don't have to go to the gym. You can also go into a dance class. You'll move around, you'll make friends, you'll learn to dance salsa. You can you can also go for a run, join a running group, or you can also buy yourself a bike, and go for a bike ride. I love bike rides because I can just pedal my way to all these cute neighborhoods or streets that you cannot get in with a car because it's like the way that it is, and it's such an adventurous thing for me, and I've done it, and I think last time I did that was last summer. You and Josiah were doing yoga, and I was like, I don't know how many miles far, but I had to paddle my way up and down the hills.
She came to come find us.
And I mean, my phone was dying, and I was like, oh my God, I better make it there in time, because I know if I make it there, I'll make it there. But if I don't, I'm going to be lost
Yeah.
I won't know how to get there back. Or come back. Yeah. But these are some great ways that you can get your body moving. Yeah. And afterwards you will feel so much better. And yeah.
Yeah, and so I guess I'll cover the nutrition part. So some ways to start to transform your eating, because it, like we've said this whole time, what you put into your body matters. It affects your mental health, it affects your physical health, and it affects your overall well-being, because if you feel good mentally and physically, then you can go out and you can conquer the world, right? You can kick butt at work, you can kick butt as a mom, as a dad. And that's really what we all want to do. We all want to transform our lives, mind, body, and soul. Yeah. And so by putting in healthy foods, you give yourself the opportunity to truly thrive. And so what that looks like is whole grains. And I always tell people, I'm like, white is bad. Like white flour, white rice. Like, yes, it's white tasty. Sugar. It tastes good. White sugar.
That white shirt is bad for you.
I know, but it's so cute. It says love thy neighbor, and it has like love thy LGBTQ neighbor, love thy Muslim neighbor, because you should love thy fill in the blank neighbor. Because God didn't say only love the people who look like you. He said love thy neighbor.
No, and I'm glad that you brought up God, because I love talking about God, you know, especially when he's not here. I'm kidding. No, God is everywhere, guys. No, I'm glad that you brought up God, because in First Corinthians, 4 Corinthians, 6:19-20, it talks about how our body is the temple of our spirit.
Yes.
So therefore, you must take care of it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and that. So yes, you have to take care of your body. It is the temple of God, and when we eat like crap, we aren't caring for our temple.
No.
Right? No. Like. There's been tons of studies that tie sugar to cancer, right? And so another healthy alternative that I like to say, so I kind of got off track with my shirt, but let's recap. Healthy ways to start eating, or ways to start eating healthy, let me say it that way, is to replace your simple carbs with complex carbs. So that looks like replacing your cake with whole grains. That looks like replacing your white bread with whole grain bread.
Or your sugar with honey.
Yes. And so replacing.
Or agave. Agave syrup.
Yep. I keep agave there, and I keep honey there on my coffee bar, because if I can replace the sugar with something natural, maple syrup is another good alternative. Pure maple syrup.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 sugar alternatives that I use. As well. Yeah, because I've noticed less inflammation when I stopped adding sugar to things.
Yes, me too. And that's what happens to my body. Like my body holds a lot of fluid.
Yeah.
And I can always feel it.
Speaking of fluid, water. So I know a lot of people don't like water, but if you can replace.
I'm a water person, and I can always tell the difference between waters.
Yeah. So I'm going to get up really quick, because I want to show something. So I hear all the time, well, Teresa, I only drink 1 Coke a day.
Oh.
This is how much sugar is in 1 Coke a day. So I'm holding up a glass carafe that's kind of like what they
grams
serve.
Is that?
I have no idea.
Sometimes I think we're all confused about the grams.
Yeah.
If you're like me, I have to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
Because if you tell me, oh, that has 3 grams, I'm thinking, oh, it's just 1, 2, 3. It's just, I see it as numbers. I don't see it as the actual things. But grams are like little cubes.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, if that's like 15 or 35 grams, they'll like pile up high.
And this might 50. Be, and I might be mistaken, this might not be 1 Coke. This might be a week of Coke. I can't remember. And I'll find the picture and I'll share.
That's definitely a lot of sugar. Even
if, so just think that you're putting this much sugar into your body. Like, it is a lot, right? Like, and since my mom got sick, like, I feel really passionate about
nutrition,
spreading the word about how your diet affects your health, because when we put artificial sweeteners into our body. So you say, okay, well, I won't have a Coke, I'll have a Diet Coke. Your body cannot process those artificial sugars.
Right. So it stores it as fat in your body.
Yes. Because it takes it through the same process that it takes sugar through because it thinks it's sugar, but it doesn't. It's like swallowing a rock. Like your body can't break up the rock and give you nutrients from the rock. So you just have to poop it out. It's the same with those artificial sweeteners. Like your body doesn't know what to do with it. So it stores it as if it were sugar, but it's not. And you don't expel it like it's sugar.
No.
And so like you don't use it as energy like you do sugar.
Yeah.
And so it's really important that you pay attention to what you're putting into your body. My tips are replace your simple carbs with complex carbs, whole grains, whole wheat, whole oats. Replace your artificial sugars and your sugar with honey, agave, what did I say? Maple syrup.
You know, when I fast, that's one of the two things I fast from is sugar. And white bread.
Yeah. Simple carbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've noticed a difference.
A huge
instantly.
difference.
And it's just like, it just shrinks.
And your concentration is better.
Yeah,
you can concentrate better.
I'm more focused on making better decisions. Yeah. And I feel like my brain, it's not that foggy anymore. Yeah. It's like I can see clear.
Yeah.
Like,
and with sugar, you have a spike and then you have a crash.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when you eat, and this is something else that a lot of people don't know, but carbs, your body processes carbs as sugar. Yep. So when
carbs do turn into sugar.
Yeah. So whenever you're eating white bread, it's like eating white sugar.
Yeah.
But if you eat wheat bread, then it's like eating a more natural, like honey. So you're, instead of having this peak of sugar rush and then crash with the simple carbs, you have a steady line of energy because with complex carbs and with natural sweeteners, like there isn't that peak and then crash. It's just steady.
Yeah.
And so your body isn't on this roller coaster all day. You're on a steady plane of energy and concentration all day. And so it's really important to make sure you're doing those complex carbs, you're doing the natural sugars, lean protein, so like meats that aren't high in fat, so turkey, chicken, lean beef, pork is one that some people are like, stay away from the pork. Yeah. But it's all about balance and portion. Like, don't go eat, 15 pork chops in a sitting, but you can have a pork chop. Like, it's okay. And then replacing your sugary drinks with something like water or tea.
Or if you're going to have sugary drinks, just make sure they're natural sugars, like an orange juice or with apples and maybe some celeries and cucumbers.
Yeah, like a juice or a smoothie.
Something that is still sweet, but it's also healthier for you.
And it's natural. Yeah. And replacing our processed foods with whole foods.
Yeah.
So instead of having, I like to make my own kale chips at home.
I've made them.
Yeah, so instead of potato chips, or or I'll make homemade potato chips or
like
homemade
sweet potato.
Sweet potatoes. But the more whole food, meaning you can basically see the shape that it was when it came out of the ground, right? The more whole food you get into your diet, the better your body is going to function.
And you're supposed to eat the rainbow, which means you're supposed to have green, yellows, and blues and reds. And
the more colors you have on your plate, the more nutritious your plate is, the more nutrient rich your plate is.
And they all serve different parts of your body and your nervous system as well. So
So you got anything else?
I don't know. Let me check my list.
Yeah. I know. We've kind of talked about a whole bunch of stuff while Rosie checks her list. Like, we talked about the Just for Today mental health journal, which I am now sitting on. Again, this is a Now it's all bent up because it's literally just a printout. It is a PDF that you can get online, and I will put the link below. It's in our merch shop, which is our store.
Yes.
We're hoping to get some
We're working on
t-shirts.
that merch
Yeah,
shop, guys.
we
We're so
are.
excited. We have so many things that we're going to be putting up. So
Yes.
keep your eye out. And
Yeah,
we'll
but
let you know once we have some goodies coming out so
Yeah.
you can be first in line and you don't miss out.
exactly. But this mental health journal is on there. It has a few pages about the daily dose, the dopamine, the oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And then the last page is your mental health journal where it tells you, like, how, like, today I feel this way and that's okay, so that you can process your emotions. Today I'm grateful for a positive affirmation that you can put down, and then the 4 things that you can do today to get your daily dose of dopamine,
Yes,
oxytocin,
amazing. I need
serotonin,
that.
and
Yeah.
endorphins. So that, do you have anything else for them?
Eat your vegetables.
Yeah, eat your
Eat your
vegetables.
Yeah.
Yep, you can incorporate
Move
exercise.
around. Guys, I don't even have to join a gym. You can
Yeah.
dance in your living room. I mean, cleaning is also a way to move around.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if you're married, sex. Sex is a great way.
You can play with your kids. That's
Yeah.
moving around too.
Mhm.
Go for a walk while they're in their bikes. Go use a scooter, roller
Mhm.
skates. Just as long as you keep your body moving, or you
Yeah.
stretch in your living room. Try to do a yoga video. Something that just keeps you moving and releases those doses of serotonin
And endorphins.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Eat a
just
salad today, okay? And you'll be happier. Make these healthy choices one at a time. Like, don't try to do it
do it
all.
all. Yeah.
No, because then that's when you're gonna fail. You always
Mhm.
want to do these things like little by little. The way I see it is like, okay, I put my foot in the gym. Now I'm just gonna take it workout by workout.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
usually how it goes, and that's how you start. Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Yes.
Yeah. And don't try to overwhelm yourself. That's why the
No.
gist for
No,
today,
no,
mental
no. Don't
health.
compete yourself.
Yeah.
Don't compete with other people because
Mm-mm.
everyone's body is different.
Yeah.
Everybody's metabolism is different, and your body is different than mine. We're
Mhm.
different heights and different weights.
Mhm.
Like, we're not ever gonna
Yeah.
look the same. So
Nope.
just remember to love yourself and remember that you are more than enough, and that God loves you, and you need to eat your vegetables because when you take care of yourself, you can take care of everybody as well, and you can live longer and be happier.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. You can't be the best version of yourself unless you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
And you can't be there for the people that you love
Mm-mm.
unless you are taking care of yourself. I always
Yeah.
tell people you have to be selfish. You have to be selfish when it comes to your mental health and your physical health. Because
Yeah.
if you don't take care of those 2 things, you can't take care of anything else
Yeah.
or anybody else.
So before we close this off,
Yeah.
okay. We were talking about when people cut themselves.
Mhm.
Where can they get help? What are the steps?
So if you or your child are cutting, I first always suggest reaching out to a mental health professional, whether that's a counselor, your psychologist. If you don't feel comfortable doing any of those things, there's a new mental health hotline that you can text teenagers. I know a lot of teenagers watch this. A lot of teenagers follow me, and they may not feel comfortable asking their parents for help. So if you text 988, it is the mental health hotline. And I'm actually going to make sure I said that correctly because I want to make sure I have this sticker on my car because it's a big, it's, I think it's really important.
Yeah. Talk to a safe adult, someone that you can confide in and that they can help you.
Yeah. Whether it's your parents or your parent's
A
friend, a
teacher.
teacher, a friend's parent, somebody, tell somebody what's happening. Tell
Yeah.
somebody what you're doing, because trust me, I know it feels good and it makes the pain go away, but cutting can be so dangerous. You can go too deep, you can go too far, and it is something that you don't have to live with. You can live without cutting, and you can process your emotions without cutting. And it is 988. That is the mental health crisis and suicide prevention hotline. You can text it, you don't have to call. That's a new feature that they started last year where you can just text in and ask for help, and someone will respond and talk to you. So yeah, it's so important that you ask for help.
Another thing I wanted to say, because I love talking about Jesus, and anytime that I can, I will.
Yeah.
If you're hurting yourself or thinking about it, I want you to know that Jesus loves you no matter what you do, no matter what you've been through, and that He is there to listen to you. You can also talk to Him, and He will help you.
Yeah. Yep. Cry out to God.
He's got you.
Yeah. I know. I think all too often we say, I can't do anything else but pray.
Yeah.
And really, our first line of defense should be prayer.
Yeah.
But it can be really hard when you feel shame to go to God.
It can. But but God's not there to judge you. God's not there to judge you.
Yeah.
He knows what you've done. He knows
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing, and He knows your future too,
Yeah.
because He created you.
Mm-hmm.
And He knows everything about you.
Yeah.
So when you give it to God, not only are you releasing yourself from all of that, but you also finding peace and
Yeah.
love, and God can take all that from you.
Mm-hmm.
He can clean you out, restore you, and heal you.
Yeah.
And when you go through these things, it's not easy.
No.
Because if it was, you wouldn't, be
Yeah.
doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're going through these things, it's very important that you reach out to someone. And if you can't find someone, find God, because God's always going to be there.
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah.
talk to Him about anything and everything.
He
He's
can
not going to
handle
tell
it.
anybody. He's
Yeah.
going to listen to you because He knows your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just pour it out on Him and watch. Just try it.
Yeah.
Just try it.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's important for people to know that God can handle your ugly.
Yeah.
And we didn't really touch on eating disorders, but it's the same thing. A lot of times there's some pain in there. All the time when people have an eating disorder, it starts because they aren't happy. There's something that
Because
they're
there's a
unsettled
void,
with.
there's something they're
Yeah.
struggling with.
Yes.
They're trying to find self-love,
Mhm.
acceptance, and they feel some type of way towards
Mhm.
themselves,
Mhm.
or someone made them feel some kind of way. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there is that shame, there is that self-loathing associated with it. And if you're a Christian and you believe that you are made in the image of God, but you don't.
Genesis 1:27 says that we are made in God's image.
Mhm.
So we look like God, God created us.
Yeah. But when you feel like you look awful, or when you feel like you look like a house, like you don't want to turn to the one who made you. And it can be very hard to turn to God. But God can handle your anger. God can
He knows your
handle
pain.
the ugly.
Yeah.
Yes. And it is important to
And if
turn to
there's
Him.
anyone that understands about pain, rejection, that has been through many things, is God. He knows. He knows what you're going through.
Yeah.
And He knows what you need.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to go to Him.
Yeah. And lay it at the foot of the cross.
Yeah.
Yay. Well, we finished another episode.
Yay.
Right? Is there anything else? I mean,
With
we
God,
could talk
all
about
things
this
are possible, guys.
yeah, we could talk about this forever. I
Yeah,
was checking
we
the
sure
time.
can.
We've been talking for an hour.
We can talk to talk.
I know. But guys, seriously, we want you to be able to thrive in all aspects of your life. And we know the importance of your physical health and how that plays into your mental health. And in order to transform your life, mind, body, and soul, you have to have habits that feed your body.
Yeah.
Because without your body, there is no soul, there is no mind. So I encourage you to take a look at what you're doing this week. Pay attention to what's going in and pay attention to what comes out to what goes in, because you'll start to see that when you put crap in, you feel like crap, you think like crap, you can't concentrate. But whenever you put good stuff in, good stuff comes out. Yeah. All right, guys. Well,
thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.
Yes.
And
share.
Yes.
We're trying to get to 1,000 views, 1,000 downloads. So there's several ways to watch. We're on all of your streaming platforms. We're on Spotify, Apple Music. We're everywhere. But we are trying to get to 1,000 downloads, 1,000 listens. So please share. Like, subscribe. If you're on Apple Music, leave us a review. But yeah, we appreciate you so much. And don't forget to visit the link in the show notes below for your mental health journal.
Yeah.
So that you can start thriving mind, body, and soul.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.